With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back! Once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight. Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series heads off into the concrete jungle. That's right, right back here at Dover International Speedway, here to tackle the Monster Mile once again here tonight. Race number 6 in season number 2, brought to you by Performance Motorsports in partnership with RB Riggs Custom Computers, as well as Hyperdrive Racing and Ayers Eye Racing Paints here in Swift Motorsports. There you can see it down right there on the bottom hand of your screen. head on over to Facebook.com and check out Swift Motorsports. Here for the Monster 138 tonight. Tons of drivers at the track, upwards of 25 drivers going to take to the starting grid here tonight. How you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land? Race fans, glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, Darkside Dave in the cave bringing you all the calls from the track here tonight. Final 2 minutes remaining here in happy hour. Looks like that 16 Toyota Tundra driven by Austin Hill, top of the speed charts right now. Michael Atkins Jr. right behind him. Nick Hunt as well as admin race official here for the night. Justin Gann with a fast lap out there in the Swift Motorsports cutaway truck. That Toyota Tundra pretty quick out there for Gann, although he will be up in race control here tonight for this 130 lap race here for race number 6 in season number 2 for these Swift Motorsports drivers here in the Performance Truck Series. And track looks pretty clean, pretty clear out there tonight. A wonderful night for racing here tonight. Gonna take a little bit of a look at the weather report. There you can see it off to the right-hand side of your screen. 79 degrees here at the track. 84-degree concrete track temperature, so that is very low for the track temperature here tonight. Look for that to rise as we continue to put laps down throughout this race evening, and it looks like final 60 seconds rolling off here in happy hour before we'll get set to run down the field for the starting lineup. These drivers all going to vie for that top spot in your qualifying session. 5-minute qualifying session here tonight. And it's going to be pretty fast-paced. Going to have a lot of drivers out there on track at one time, so multiple drivers going to be turning in laps all within a few a few tenths or so of each other, so we'll keep our eye on that, as that's going to be very fast-paced here at this 1 mile concrete oval. It's one of those unforgiving tracks, a self-cleaning track as well, so if it goes up the track, it is definitely going to come down the track and come down the track at a much more rapid pace than what it hit that outside wall in. We've seen that happen to a few drivers last night. A few drivers caught up in a caution about halfway through last night's Swift Motorsports Ayers iRacing Paints Arkham Menard Series race here at Dover International Speedway. Only one caution last night. We'll have to see how these truck drivers handle the track. Will Caden Atkins continue to his climb up through the point standings? We'll have to wait and see how all of that shakes down. Caden having a good, solid few runs. Kevin Haas, Michael Atkins Jr. out there on track. Jim Thorndike making his time lapse as well. Lee Staples, Jimmy Cormier also out there on track. Stephen Ayers Jr., Austin Hill, all on the track all at one time. There you can see some drivers out on the track right now. And it looks like as a few of them begin to put in their time lap, we'll go ahead and throw that qualifying information up for you on the left-hand side of your screen. Track, very busy place. A lot of drivers out there on track as Quick Time shutting it down after lap number 1. Austin Hill going to take that top spot, 22-16. Michael Atkins Jr. out there on track on his time lap, second on the speed charts. Caden Atkins, there he is, right there in that third place. I told you, keep an eye out for that 2 machine. Kevin Haas right there, 10th spot. Now David Cameron going to bump a few drivers around. Michael Atkins Jr. out there on his second time lap. Kenny improved that time. Kenny find a 10th of a second to overtake Austin Hill. Not going to do it last time by. A little bit slower for that 41. So it looks like that first time lap going to be your quick time here tonight. Still, top of the speed charts, that 16 Toyota Tundra piloted by Austin Hill. Quick time, 22-16. Nick Hunt goes second for a moment, now down to third, dropping to fourth as Todd Cray in that 21 machine. He inches closer to the pole, 22-21 for Cray. Jason Harrison right there in third now, 22-22, 22-23 for John Jr. out there in that 15 machine. Looks like Nick Hunt calling it a night for his qualifying attempts as well, as we are just about halfway through this 5-minute qualifying session. There you see it, 2.5 minutes on the stopwatch so far. 22 drivers already putting in their time lap. Austin Hill continues to keep that top spot. Todd Cray right there in second. Jason Harrison third. John McMillan Jr. sitting in fourth. Nick Hunt rounding out your top five. Looks like few of the bigger names back through the field as well. Jim Ott back there outside of the top 10. Ryan Branchew, Ron Schutte back there in that 14th spot. Andy Starcher in that familiar Monster Energy Chevy Silverado back in that 15th spot. Stephen Ayers Jr. just barely inside of that top 20, now being knocked into that 20th spot. Jonathan Holston goes 7th on the speed charts with his time lap. And Brian Hitz, only driver yet to put in his time lap, looks like he's going to go 22nd with his first time lap. Hitz not improving on his time lap, so looks like he's going to stay just outside of your top 20, as we have had 24 drivers take to the track. 24 drivers putting in a qualifying lap here tonight, so going to be quite interesting to see who all can get the job done. And looks like Larry Poling, he's going to try to sneak into the car down there with just about 60 seconds left here in qualifying. I do believe that's going to be all for naught. So with that being said, it does indeed look like that 16 Toyota Tundra of Austin Hill going to walk away with the provisional pole here tonight from Dover International Speedway. Able to be one of the fastest in happy hour and take the pole position here tonight. Austin Hill, heck of a job by him and his entire crew. And with that being said, race fans, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break before we head trackside for the national anthem. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the
drivers begin to bring their trucks to the starting grid here tonight. Few drivers yet to make it through final inspection and make their way to their starting spot. And just as we say that, looks like those final few drivers beginning to hit the starting grid. So we'll run down a little bit of official business for you here before your starting lineup. Your championship standings coming into tonight's race. There you can see that 86 of Alan Young leading the point standings. Todd Cray in a very close second. Caden Atkins right there clawed his way up into that third spot in the points, and he is looking for more. Edward Bray, Michael Atkins Jr. sitting right there as well. Multiple drivers here trying to claw and scratch their way up through the championship points. Two-time race winner Austin Hill looking to try to see if he can't climb through that championship point standings as well before we head off into tonight's Monster 138 live here from Dover International Speedway. And looks like bells ringing in the background. You know what time it is. That's right, race fans, it's time to run down tonight's starting lineup for the Monster 138 here in Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series. Snatching that pole position here in that 5-minute qualifying session, driver inside of that 16 Toyota Tundra, Austin Hill. Lining up just to his outside, fast as always, that 21 of Todd Cray. Inside row number 2, the 44 of Jason Ayerson, followed by John McMillan Jr. Nick Hunt gonna round out your top 5, while Michael Atkins Jr. brings his 41 into the 6th spot. Inside row number 4, the 73 of Jonathan Holston, followed by the 2 of Caden Atkins. Row number 5, the 86 of Alan Young, followed by Chris Scala. Inside row number 6, Jim Thorndike, followed by Jim Ott. Starting in the 13th spot here tonight, that 6 from 4X Racing, Ryan Branch. You will have Jimmy Cormier just to his outside. Ron Schutte right there in that 15th starting spot. There you can see a few more drivers back all the way to 20th to Stephen Ayers Jr. David Cameron in that 21st starting spot. 22nd to the 22 of Brian Hitz. Toby Bird, Kevin Haas round out row number 12. That is your starting lineup for tonight's Monster 133 live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As the pace car ducks off, we're ready to throw the green flag for the first time here tonight. 138 laps for these Performance Truck Series drivers. Who will get the job done? Your pole sitter makes his way off of turn 4. Green flag flies for the first time here tonight from Dover International Speedway and into turn number 1. Everybody up through the gears, looks clean and clear. Your top 2 drivers skating away from the field already back here. Battle being big time wiggles from a few of these drivers. Almost into that outside wall already. Jason Ayerson slotting in to that 3rd spot right where he started. He's got John McMillan as well as Michael Atkins Jr. Caden Atkins right there nipping at the buds as the 41 goes to the inside of turn number 1, makes his way off of 2, and now sets his sights on that 44 of Ayerson. Now down to the bottom goes Michael Atkins Jr. looking for another spot. He's up to 3rd. 2 spots in 1 lap. That 41 is heading towards the front. Fastest man on the track that last time by was that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. 22:56 quick time for your race time. Looking to the inside on Cray. 41's looking, he's right there closing the distance, hugging that pavement down there at the bottom, right there near the seam. Got to be careful not to overstep it and upset the front end of that truck. Driver still knows the tail. 1, 2, 3, all within 0.3 of a second of each other. Now getting that run off the corner. Michael Atkins Jr. looks to the inside of Cray. Cray going to give up the spot. Cray up the track, and caution. Caution on the speedway. Dave Cameron, Kevin Haas, looks like these drivers may have been involved there. You see some beaten and battered machines. Ron Schutte in that 28 also caught up in this incident, so we'll take a look back, see how it all went down. Oh, and it looked like Shooty off of that outside wall with some contact. There you can see it coming off of 2 into that outside wall, catching the 10, catching the 1. David Cameron as well as Kevin Haas, both kind of victims with nowhere to go. All 3 of those trucks, you can see them smoking, beaten, battered already. Hard contact for those 3 drivers. And meanwhile, back at the front of this field with your race leader, new race leader, the 21 of Todd Cray, as well as Chris Scala. Both of those drivers stay out on the speedway. Toby Bird, John McMillan Jr., Sr. also going to stay out on track. So your top 4 truck runners right now all electing to stay out on track. Very early caution here coming out on lap number 4, right towards the completion of lap number 4. It looks like the rest of the field elected to come down and get tires very early here. Not quite sure that 5 laps is really going to make that big of a difference. But it could come into play. We seen last night's race winning strategy only be a 3-lap difference in tires, and it was just enough to hold off the hard charge from the fast tires, from the fresher tires of John Atkins Jr. So, not John Atkins Jr., I mixed 2 drivers together, of John McMillan Jr. So, I guess maybe it does matter that much. I don't know. I'm going to have to get one of these crew chief on the horn and see what that tire threshold really is, where there really are concerns at. And as of right now, looks like the bar is being set at 5 laps. If you get at least 5 or 6 laps on the tires, you're going to want to come in and grab some more. But keep in mind now, race fan, tires limited here in Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series. So you can't just go down there and get the tires every single time. You're going to have a little bit of strategy to it. You're going to have to think out your play each and every step of the way here tonight at Dover International Speedway. Whew. That was a fast-paced first 5 laps. A lot of action, a lot of drivers making their way through the field. Michael Atkins Jr. in this 41 machine right here. There you can see a man on screen. The beast is here, right there on the side of it, putting the field on notice. Driver inside of that GTR Simulators Chevy Silverado. Very fast, very quick, very decisive with his maneuvers to make his way up through the field. Still, even after coming to pit road that last time and giving up a handful of spots to some drivers staying out on the track, still, Michael Atkins Jr. going to line up in the 4th spot, so he is still right there at the front, and look for him to try to make that power move around the outside coming out of turn number 2. I do believe that 41 is going to try to keep it to the high side as the caution lights have gone out. Field double file back into turn number 3. The 21 of Todd Cray will have control over the restart, gonna pick that outside lane. So we seen that happen last night with our one and only caution. So again, looks like the preferred restart line, the preferred spot to be for those race leaders is that outside lane. As now the field makes its way into turn number 3, the Chevy Silverado pace truck gonna duck on off this time by, and Cray will get the field going once again here tonight to begin lap number 9 out of the 138 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. There goes the pace truck, and there goes Todd Cray. Green flag flies. Slow back to the gas. Michael Atkins Jr. sleeping on the throttle. Now battling with Jason Harrison right there. That's for 4th and 5th on the track. Michael Atkins Jr. gonna slot in that 4th spot, but he was caught sleeping, napping on the restart. Got some battles a little further through the field we seen going on back here. Look at that. The 59 of Jim Thorndike, a little beaten up on that tail end. There you can see caved in just a little bit already very early here. And that GTR Simulator Chevy Silverado has seen some damage. A little further back behind them, look at this battle. This is back around the 17th, 18th position, and it looks like Andy Starcher coming to pit road. Starcher with trouble. Starcher bringing it to pit road. We'll jump back up at the front with your race leader, Todd Cray, who has just absolutely set sail. He's got almost a 1 second advantage over Austin Hill already. Quick time last time by for Todd Cray, 22:33. That's going to be the fastest time of the race so far here tonight. Austin Hill digging but not making up any ground. Battle is between the 3rd, 4th, 5th position on track. Michael Atkins Jr. to the bottom of the raceway. He's going to take 3rd away from Scala. Scala now in danger of losing a spot to Caden Atkins. Atkins on the bottom. Ayrson going to try to follow through. There you see it. There you see that short track freight train. You get moved up off the bottom and okay. Oh, that was close for Jason Ayrson. Right across his nose, the 11 forces his way back to the bottom, and that's what you've got to do. Once that freight train starts rolling, you've got to close that door, even if it puts you in a bad situation, in a bad spot. If not, you are just absolutely going to get run down and run over on that outside lane, especially at the start of a green flag run when you've got those 4 fresh Goodyear tires, those grippies on. Man, you don't want to get stuck out there to the high side as Ayrson looks to the bottom on Scala. Scala going to have that door opened on him one more again. He closes it once again, and here comes John McMillan Jr. He's going to look for a spot here as well. These 4 drivers all nose to tail. Chris Scala, John McMillan Jr., Jim Ott, Nick Hunt. Big moment there for Jim Ott off of turn 2. We'll head high above the speedway now with one of our turn 3 drone cams, bringing you a little bit of a bird's eye view from the concrete monster mile here at Dover International Speedway. There you can see just how close that 15 of McMillan Jr. is to the back end of Chris Scala. Now looking for another spot. He's going to drop to the inside, and Scala is just losing a ton of spots here, free falling through the field. Close with Jim Ott now as they drag race into turn number 1. Ott gonna have the spot, and here comes Hunt closing the door once again. Is that 11 of Scala trying to minimize the damage, stop the bleeding, if you will. Fortunately enough, able to close the door for the time being. We'll head off a little bit further through the field. We've got a battle back here just for that top 15 spot. Lee Staples right there hounding Jimmy Cormier, running in the 13th spot. Edward Bray right there in his 66 machine, all over that rear deck lid of Lee Staples. Bray has Sebastian Guggen closing in on him. That 84 looking solid, running in the 6th spot. Big gain off of turn number 2 there for the 5 of Staples. Staples with a big run, looking to utilize it, not able to do anything with it just yet. With that being said, I tell you what, why don't we go down to one of our onboard cameras here, looking back from that 5 of Staples, looking back at Cormier, looking back at Thorndike, also back in the distance. He's going to take that spot away from Cormier. Edward Bray now looks to the bottom. Door gonna close as Staples makes his way back to the bottom of the speedway, and he'll set sail on the field, try to make up a little bit more ground here tonight. We'll go back outside of the raceway. A little bit further in front of these drivers here, you can find yet another battle on the speedway. That is a battle between Jim Ott, Chris Scala, Nick Hunt. Hunt all over the back end of Scala right now, and Scala's just trying to stop the bleeding. He has been falling through the field since this latest restart. And looking at the timing and scoring as we make our way across the stripe to begin lap number 22 out of the 138 scheduled here tonight, Austin Hill still maintains a 0.6 of a second race lead. Todd Cray has 2/10 or so right there over Michael Atkins Jr., who's got a 1.8 second advantage over Caden Atkins. So your top three drivers all separating themselves from the field in the tail end of the lead lap right now. This man, Toby Bird, about a half a track off of your race leader, so already drivers in danger of going down a lap here. Looks like Andy Starcher has fell off of that lead lap, but that was for coming to pit road under green flag conditions. I do believe possible black flag situation there for that 19 of Starcher, so he has got an uphill battle on his hands for the rest of the night. Back up here with this battle as it continues to rage on. Nick Hunt able to get by Chris Scala last time by, now looking to make up a spot on Jim Ott, running in that 7th position. That number 4 auto owner's Chevy Silverado looking pretty good here tonight. Handling looks to be pretty good. Had a few moments earlier in the race, but able to keep it heading in the right direction so far. But a man falling back now, Todd Cray. What has happened to Cray? Looking through the timing and scoring, trying to see if we see anything going on. And nothing actually standing out there on. Very interesting there. Nothing really standing out to us. But Austin Hill, he was able to make his way by Todd Cray. Michael Atkins Jr. also made his way by Cray. There you can see Atkins Jr. just off in the distance. That 41 starting to scoot away from Todd Cray, who had the race lead. New race leader on the track, your pole sitter here tonight. The 16 of Austin Hill regains control of the field. And there you can see Hill beginning to make his way into some back markers. That's the 99 of Toby Bird running just in front of him. He'll begin to close in on Larry Poling as well as John McMillan Sr. So lap traffic going to come into play early here tonight as we begin to reach the 30 lap mark into tonight's 138 lap event. Gonna jump back with this battle because it is still not over with. Jim Ott still fighting off Nick Hunt. Now Hunt finally gonna get that spot. Ott looking for the crossover. Not gonna be there. The 00 Popeyes Chevy Silverado gonna take that 7th spot away after trying lap after lap after lap. Persistence finally prevailing for that 00 of Nick Hunt. Will jump up to a battle going on near the front of the field. This is a battle for the 4th and 5th position on the speedway. Jason Harrison looking to take that 4th spot away down there, digging on the inside lane. He's going to grab the spot from that 2 Performance Motorsports Ford F-150 piloted by Caden Atkins. Still looking at some battles on the raceway. Scala, Thorndike, Branchu, they're kind of gapped up between each other, but still running right there in striking distance. Looks like Sebastian Guggen making his way up through the field, making his way inside the top 15, now up 5 spots from where he started tonight's race, now running in that 14th position and looking for 2 more spots. He's got Lee Staples and Edward Bray right in front of him. Stephen Ayers Jr. may be having some trouble. He just lost that 16th spot on the speedway to Brian Hitz in the 22, so that Ford F-150 moving forward as well, up 6 spots from where he started tonight's race back in the 22nd spot. So a big move there by that 22 of Hitz up to the 16th spot. Looking for the battles on the speedway. We'll jump up to this one right here because Jason Harrison, he's going to close in here very shortly on Todd Cray, who had maintained the race lead for a good 15 to 20 laps here. But since Austin Hill had taken that race lead away, lap traffic with a moment right in front of some lead lap cars. Ayrson out of the throttle. The two of Atkins out of the throttle. A lot of spots still at stake very early in tonight's race. Looks like there's a battle back for the 9th and 10th spot between Chris Scala and Jim Thorndike. We'll head back there to this battle as it is one of your closest battles on the speedway. There you can see that 59 GTR simulator machine being piloted by Jim Thorndike. He's trying to make his way up and around the 11 of Scala, who has seemed to have been struggling over the past 10 laps or so. Scala just trying to minimize the damage right now, stop the bleeding, as I already alluded to earlier, and just falling through the field. He was up a handful of spots here, still up one position from where he started tonight's race back in the 10th position. Scala was up inside the top 5 and has since fallen all the way back here to the 9th position. He's got Jim Thorndike looking to take that spot away as well. This is still one of your closest battles on the speedway. Jim Ott, Chris Scala, Jim Thorndike, all pretty much nose to tail. Small gaps in between each three of these Truck Series drivers, but they continue to pound the pavement, scratch that, kick the concrete here tonight at Dover International Speedway. Here, everybody clean and clear up through the gears. Just one early caution here tonight. Driver into the outside wall, collecting another 2 drivers with him. So that's going to leave us with 3 drivers off of the speedway. Multiple drivers out there having some slight issues and having to come to pit road. And as we continue this long green flag run here, lap number 40 now underway. A little bit of house cleaning as Jimmy Cormier brings his machine to pit road. We started tonight's race with 26 drivers on the starting grid. We have still got 22 drivers out there on the track with just 19 now left on the lead lap as Jimmy Cormier forfeits his lead lap position to come down pit road under green flag conditions. And how long will these race leaders stay out? How long will Austin Hill continue to run here tonight on those fresher tires? Hill down onto pit road under that first caution back on lap number 5, so he does have a 5-lap tire advantage over Todd Cray. The rest of the field, though, besides Chris Scala, so just Todd Cray and Chris Scala out there on their original set of tires, and that's also going to give Hill and Atkins Jr. a little bit of a buffer on the gas there. They're going to be able to run just a little bit further than that 21 and 11. But may that be kind of the strategy Cray wanted as he comes to pit road on lap number 40 for Todd Cray, bringing his Chevy Silverado down for service. And it looks like the 11 of Chris Scala, he's going to stay out on track and extend his run just a little bit further. But could that be the move? Todd Cray pitting from the 3rd spot. He was back about 3 seconds from your race leader, Austin Hill. But will that work out? Will the short pit end up working? Michael Atkins Jr., who could have ran much further, he's went ahead and brought it to pit road. Nick Hunt also on pit road with Chris Scala. Continuing the race at the front of the field with your race leader Austin Hill as he continues to put cars 1 lap down. I do believe that is the 22 XX, that is the 86 of Alan Young. Last driver scored on the lead lap, trying to keep himself on that lead lap, but he is going to have a tall task at hand as the 16 of Austin Hill closing the distance right there on that bottom lane, making his way out of turn number 2. Turn number 4, crossing the stripe back down into turn 1. There you see Michael Atkins Jr. working his way off of pit road. Gonna keep our eye on the timing and scoring because Todd Cray being scored off of the lead lap, and Austin Hill gonna bring it to pit road, shuts it down early to make sure there's no problems getting to pit road. So Austin Hill gonna give up the race lead, and it looks like Caden Atkins in that 2 truck gonna stay out there a little bit longer. Performance Motorsports Ford F-150 looking to lead a lap here tonight, trying to put a bonus point in his back pocket. And we're going to watch this leaderboard, keeping an eye on Austin Hill, keeping an eye on Todd Cray. More drivers to pit road. John McMillan Sr. to pit road. Looks like a big moment there as Caden Atkins comes to pit road. Jim Ott and Jim Thorndike gonna stay out on the speedway. Looks like Edward Bray, Lee Staples, Ryan Branchew also gonna stay out on the raceway. Austin Hill finally making his way back to the track, and it looks like Todd Cray jumps him on the speedway. Indeed, Todd Cray, there you can see, with what should eventually be the race lead, as Cray right there hounding some drivers, trying to make up as much time as he can. There you see that 41 of Stephen Atkins Jr. just behind him. Austin Hill right behind Atkins Jr. 1.2 seconds separates Todd Cray from Michael Atkins Jr. in another 1 second back to Austin Hill, 2 seconds back behind Todd Cray right now. And now you will see Cray jump to the top of the speed charts, jump back into that race lead. New race leader once again at the front of the field, the 21 of Todd Cray. Fastest time of the race going to Austin Hill, back in that 16 truck, running in the 3rd spot, 22:35 now the quick time here in the race, and we are closing in on what was the pole time here tonight. Very close, just a few, I believe just another 10th, and we will have a faster time in the race than what we have had in qualifying for tonight's Monster 138 here for Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series. Gonna be a hot and heavy battle at the front of the field here in just a few moments. Michael Atkins Jr. has closed that gap now under 1 second. Austin Hill also making his way up through the field right now. There you can see Hill sitting in the 3rd spot. Nick Hunt also grouped up with these drivers. Lots of drivers packed up right here. So I tell you what, race fans, we haven't done it yet. Why not head down the trackside for a little bit of the sights and sounds a little closer up here with our turn 3. Turn it up. and love it when we get up close and personal down there with some of the onboard camera shots. We've seen one camera looking back at the driver inside of that 16, Austin Hill, your pole sitter here tonight, running in that second spot. A few of the gyro cams as well as nose cams looking back off looking back off the tail end of these Performance Truck Series machines. Multiple drivers, multiple crews out there allowing us to put different cars, different angles on their machines here tonight for the Monster 138 here from Dover International Speedway, and we do appreciate each and every one of them. And I tell you what, race fans, if you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Dark Side Dave in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you stopping by each and every time, whether you're just casually stopping through or the dedicated fan, friend, or family. We appreciate each and every one of you, because without you, there would be no us. And hey, once again, why don't you go ahead and throw these drivers a thumbs up. Michael Atkins Jr. having a little bit of trouble. He gave up some spots under our Turn It Up segment there. Gave up a spot to Austin Hill. Hill has since regained the race lead and has stepped out to a 1.8 second advantage already here as we work our way around the track on lap number 64. Out of the 138 scheduled in tonight's official race distance, you'll see these drivers continue this long green flag run now, as they have already had one set of green flag pit stops. So we went back green flag racing somewhere right on the lap 8, lap 9 mark of the race. So a very, very long time out there on track. Drivers having to go through one set of green flag pit stops. Austin Hill lost a little bit of ground on the front end of that green flag pit cycle, but has since used it to his advantage. Man, look at that gap that he has already opened up. 3.2 second race advantage for your pole sitter here tonight, Austin Hill. And as most of the battles beginning to die off here, we'll run down through your top 5 drivers on the speedway. A little bit of driver showcase for you. Sitting at the top of the scoring pylon, your pole sitter here tonight leading the race. Sitting inside of that 16 Toyota Tundra, Austin Hill. Driver right there in second led a handful of laps. He's got a driver right behind him as well, the 21 of Todd Cray, looking to see if he can somehow walk away with a race win here today. Gonna have to pull a little rabbit out of the hat, have a little bit of magic, and try to run down your race leader. But Todd Cray, good solid run as they go just past the halfway point here tonight, running in a solid second position. Third place on the track after gaining 3 spots from where he started tonight's race, that 41 Always Fast GTR Simulator Chevy Silverado, looking pretty. The beast is here, right there across the side of that thing, and right here in that third and final podium spot, Michael Atkins Jr. Back to the 4th position, the 44 of Jason Harrison, Carlton, Missouri's very own Dragon Garden and Pure Ink sponsored JB Motorsports Chevy Silverado, looking good here tonight inside the top 5, running in that 4th spot. The 00 of Nick Hunt right there in that Popeye Chevy Silverado, one of the favorite paint schemes out there week in and week out. Love seeing that Popeye's paint, as now looks like he may lose that top 5 spot to John McMillan Jr. And indeed, John McMillan Jr. now into that 5th spot, so we'll have to showcase him for just a brief moment on screen as well, as now Nick Hunt trying to regain the momentum, regain the ground, and get up there and snatch back that top 5 spot, but not looking like he's going to have anything for McMillan Jr., who's got about 4 lap fresher tires than the drivers that he is closing in on. Bit of a gap to make up some ground on Jason Harrison, about 2 seconds in front of John McMillan Jr. right now, running in that last spot in the top 5. We'll jump back a little bit further through the field. Drivers running just inside the top 10, running in that 10th spot right now. That Serve Pro number 6 of Ryan Branchew, and he has got a hard charging 66 of Edward Bray right on his heels. You can see this battle unfold right here before your eyes, race fans. Now 4-second race advantage for your race leader. Nothing to see up there at the front. As we watch this battle right here between Ryan Branchew and Edward Bray, you can see Todd Cray and Michael Atkins Jr. just off in the distance, just behind them, making their way around some more lap traffic here tonight. And my goodness, this field, not just your race leader, but this field has been on a, whoa, big moment there for Branchew. Hard off of the outside wall, trying to save it, trying to corral it. He's able to do so. How those two drivers didn't wad it up there, I don't know. They crashed without wrecking off of turn number 2. That was a pretty phenomenal job there by the wheelman inside of that 6 Serve Pro Chevy Silverado. Gonna jump back up towards the front of the field. I say jump back up to the front, but we'll head just behind the guy we were just watching on screen, Todd Cray, sitting right there in the 2nd spot, trying to make his way around some of these back markers. And it looks like Edward Bray is indeed being scored the last driver on the lead lap. Jim Thorndike actually off of the lead lap as well. My goodness, only 8 drivers left on the lead lap, just a little bit past the halfway point here tonight. Drivers screaming about debris, drivers screaming about oil on the track. They're looking for a caution. They're going to need a caution. Battle for that 2nd spot right back here. There you can see looking to the inside of Todd Cray. Michael Atkins Jr., he has that bottom lane. He has the preferred spot. Gonna pin the lap car out to that outside lane and get the spot away from Todd Cray. Cray doing a fantastic job on some older tires to try to keep himself out there in front, out there in a position to possibly pull that short pit maneuver once again. Cray was on pit road back at lap number 43, so he's been out on the track for almost 40 laps on this green flag run. Our drivers still have upwards of 58, right around 60 laps remaining here in tonight's race, so they're going to have to stretch the fuel just a little bit, will Cray. And I do believe, let's see, did anybody else come on lap 43 with him? No, and it looks like maybe some of these drivers back on lap 44, lap 45 may possibly have a little bit of something to worry about, may have to go into some fuel stretching, fuel saving modes. We'll have to wait and see how all that shakes out, but shaking out very well for your race leader at the front of the field. There you can see him in the great house Toyota Tundra 16 machine. Austin Hill has a dominant command over the field here tonight. 5 and almost 6 seconds over 2nd place runner Michael Atkins Jr. Looks like it's a little bit like last week, where Austin Hill was leading towards the end of the race but had some issues, didn't quite finish it out. And I do want to retract some stats that we had earlier here tonight, or stats that and into the outside wall multiple times. Oh, that could have been very bad for one of the drivers out there. Want to retract some of the stats here. Austin Hill going to victory lane 2 times in the Xfinity Series, the RB Rigs Custom Computers Xfinity Series here for Swift Motorsports. So I do apologize out there to the race fans. That was the wrong stat for the right stat, but for the wrong series. Only driver to victory lane twice in Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series has been Todd Cray. Cray has visited victory lane twice so far this season. Last week's race winner was that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr., so look for that 41 to do something. And on pit road goes Michael Atkins Jr. That's a bit of an early jump to pit road, I do believe, as now that's going to leave us with just 7 drivers left on the lead lap. And just in front of your race leader there, you can see that 11 of Chris Scala right there making his way off of turn number 2. Now Todd Craig going to bring his 21 machine to pit road for what very well may be his final stop of the race. Nick Hunt also going to come to pit road. Austin Hill looks like he may stay out another lap or two, and indeed he does. Jason Ayerson right here, half of a track behind your race leader. He's running in that second spot. Has John McMillan Jr. just behind him. Jim Ott running in fourth, and Chris Scala rounds out your top 5. Only 5 drivers scored on the lead lap. Some of the lap down cars still yet to pit here tonight. Jim Thorndike, Ryan Branchew, Edward Bray, Lee Staples, they're yet to hit pit road for their final pit stop. Here comes Jason Ayerson in the 44, going to break away from the track and head down pit road. Austin Hill going to stay out on track. Race leader Austin Hill stays out on track as we close in right around the 40 lap remaining mark here tonight in the Monster 134 for Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series race number 6 here in season number 2, live from Dover International Speedway. And my goodness, the concrete monster has been quiet here tonight after an early showing. Miles getting shoved back in the closet. There you see those fresh tires, 3 wide for a moment with some old tires and fresh tires on the outside. Michael Atkins Jr. getting one of his laps back. Michael Atkins Jr. being scored multiple laps down as he went to pit road earlier than anybody else for this second round of green flag pit stops. Your race leader Austin Hill now down onto pit road. What will this 4 of Jim Ott do? There you see Michael Atkins Jr. charging hard up through the field, and he has got to be hammered down. He has got to stay on it. And with that 41 charging so hard, the 21 of Todd Cray also charging hard to get himself back on the lead lap. Austin Hill now making his way off of pit road. How's that going to shake out with Michael Atkins Jr.? Looks like the 41 is gonna leapfrog Austin Hill. Hill going to lose a spot to Cray as well. Jim Ott going to break away for pit road, and that should put this man right here at the top of the scoring pylon. He should be able to make his way off of turn number 4 this time by and assume the race lead. But he has got a very fast Todd Cray right behind him, running in the 3rd spot, just a half a second off of Michael Atkins Jr. is Todd Cray, as there you see Jim Ott making his way. Oh, and it looks like Ott with some trouble. He's going to go down pit road this time by yet again. Tough break there for that 4 of Ott as he is now heading off the speedway. Battle for the race lead after our second round of green flag pit stops. Michael Atkins Jr. has control over the race, but the 21 of Todd Cray has been fast all race long, and he is right there hounding your race leader Michael Atkins Jr., leading for the first time here tonight after short pitting, getting the undercut grabbing those fresh tires sooner than anybody else. Made up enough ground now. Todd Cray looking to the outside, not going to be there. Now looks to cross over at the line. Drag race as they head to turn number 1 inside preferred line to that 21 of Cray. Side by side within inches off of 2. Inches away from each other, making their way around the speedway. Todd Cray takes it to the bottom of the track. He's going to take the spot away through 3 and 4. New race leader once again at the front of this field, that 21 of Todd Cray. Cray takes that spot in convincing fashion. And what has happened to Austin Hill? Look at the difference that green flag pit stop has made. And it looks like very slow on and off pit road. Gave up about a second on and off pit road to the drivers in front of him. Todd Cray with a 51.42 on and off pit road time. Austin Hill, one of the slower drivers out there on and off pit road, 52.58 seconds, so 1.1 second difference. That translates into a big gap when it goes over to the speedway, and there you see it, 7.6 seconds behind. I'm not sure Hill has enough time to click that amount of difference off, and there you can see, and it looks like possibly some fuel saving already, because giving up a ton of time is Austin Hill. Last time by, gave up about a second to your race leader, Todd Cray, who has opened up a gap now over Michael Atkins Jr., and I gotta wonder, are these drivers just pushing as hard as they can, trying to build a gap to be able to come to pit road, grab a splash and stay hammered down, and possibly be able to pass any of these drivers out there in fuel saving mode? Because Austin Hill is saving. There is no way he is losing 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap. He is now over 10 seconds back behind your race leader, as we have got just 37 laps remaining here in tonight's Monster 138 in Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series here, race number 6 in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And I'm telling you, they have got to be saving gas. Either that or Todd Cray and Michael Atkins Jr. have been able to sandbag and keep themselves up near the front of this field, because they are absolutely gone. And as we're just over the 100 lap mark here in tonight's Performance Motorsports Truck Series race from Dover International Speedway, Todd Cray gonna cross the line to begin lap number 104. We started tonight's race with 26 drivers on the speedway. We have still got 22 out there on the track, but only 6 remain on the lead lap, and John McMillan Jr. has got to be careful, because Todd Cray is going to close in on that iRacing 15 machine just off in front of him. There you can see him, less than a quarter of a turn away, less than a quarter of a straightaway separates John McMillan Jr. from Todd Cray, so you got to know that he's going to be pushing hard here and pushing hard. Jason Ayerson, he's trying to make up some ground, trying to make his way a little further inside the top 5. Jason Ayerson sitting in that 5th spot, but he's got Nick Hunt right in front of him, going to try to snatch that 4th spot from Popeye. Small little battles all over the raceway. Jim Thorndike back battling with Edward Brave. Battle off of the lead lap, but we'll still show it right here. Andy Starcher still trying to regain some ground after having to come to pit road for an early black flag incident. Starcher in that 19 Monster Energy Chevy Silverado has seen some better races, but continuing to soldier on here tonight, running back in the 19th position. There you can see that 66 of Edward Bray being hounded by Jim Thorndike. Starcher going to make his way through, not for position, so not sure that Thorndike wanted to fight with that 19 very long. He'll let him by, and he'll go ahead and set his sights back in on that 66 and try to take that 8th spot away. And still losing time, still saving gas is Austin Hill. Man, I tell you, he is saving a ton right now, race fans. I have not seen him run a sub 24 lap in quite a long time. Your race leader's now running right around that 24 second lap time. But Austin Hill just continues to run a tick slower than the rest of the field. He is saving a ton of time. He is saving a ton of gas, I should say. And now falling into the clutches of Nick Hunt, Jason Ayerson. So 3rd, 4th, 5th on the track, all stacked up. And you can throw John McMillan Jr. into that mix as well. And that just lets you know how much gas this 16 truly is saving, because your race leader, Todd Cray, he is right there. And giving up the spot, Austin Hill goes to the top of the speedway. He's going to let the 00 by, also let the 44 of Jason Ayerson by. So Pitt Hill back to the 5th spot after taking tonight's pole position. Could we see Austin Hill possibly run out of gas? He is saving a ton. Lee Staples brings his 5 machine to pit road. Larry Poling also on to pit road. You're going to check back in with your race leader, Todd Cray. There you see that 21 machine. Can he make it an unprecedented 3rd time to victory lane so far in 3 races? He is your only Truck Series driver to visit victory lane multiple times so far this season, with 25 laps remaining. Who's got enough in the fuel tank to make it to the end? And yeah, I think I would agree right now. I do believe Dover has probably got much more snow than Michigan, having to come out and get some heaters to melt some stuff away here tonight to even get the track as beautiful and clean inside this little protective dome that we've got going now. Yeah, that's not going to work. Todd Cray going to come to pit road. Doesn't look like he's got enough gas, and does Austin Hill, possibly by saving so much. Can he somehow have saved enough fuel? Michael Atkins Jr. now takes over the race lead with a 13-second advantage over Todd Cray, who's going to fall a little bit further through the field. Nick Hunt out there in 2nd. Now Austin Hill back to 3rd, as Ayerson and McMillan Jr. bring their machines to pit road. That's going to leave us with just about 5 drivers left on the lead lap here tonight, and looks like we're going to get less than that. Your top 3 as they run on the speedway right now, with 22 laps remaining, 21 when we cross the line this time by Michael Atkins Jr., Nick Hunt, Austin Hill. Your top 3, only 3 left on the lead lap. We'll take a quick journey around the speedway. Nick Hunt, there you can see him just now crossing that line, 16 seconds behind Michael Atkins Jr., who's hit pit road. The 41 onto pit road. He didn't have enough to make it. Jason Ayerson as well as John McMillan Jr., they make their way back off of pit road, but the race lead will belong to this 00 Popeye Chevy Silverado, piloted by Nick Hunt. He's going to go top of the scoring charts. New race leader. First time here tonight for that 00 of Nick Hunt. And I I just don't know that he's been able to save enough fuel. Man, it's gonna be pretty wild though. I'm gonna tell you that. It's gonna be a pretty wild one here. Coming to the finish, all these drivers making their way around Nick Hunt, fresh tires, with plenty of fuel to make it to the end. Will they be able to run down your top two drivers? And Nick Hunt, he doesn't have enough. He's going to break to pit road. That's going to leave just one man out there on the track, trying to make it to the end with just 2 stops here tonight. Can Austin Hill save enough gas to make it around this speedway 18 more times before any other competition is able to catch back up with him? Looks like back on lap number 87 is when Chris Scala pitted. Back on lap number 91 for Jim Thorndike. So drivers have a lot of ground that they can cover here. With all that being said, we're going to throw up some of the race strategy. There you can see the pit, the race stint links that these drivers have had. Now out there during this stint, 31 laps. If he can make it 32 laps, that will be right at 48 laps. That will be the longest run that Austin Hill has tried to make on the tires and fuel. And will it be enough? I am not quite so sure, because he has got a fast, hard charging Todd Cray in the 21 sitting right there in the 3rd spot. We'll jump back there now with Cray as he begins his climb back up through the field. Cray, as I said, 12 seconds behind and already under 10 seconds away from your race leader and closing fast on Chris Scala. I don't think that Austin Hill is going to be able to keep him behind. I don't think that Hill is going to be able to pull this off. Closing at a fast rate is that 21 of Todd Cray. Only 5 drivers left on the lead lap now as we have continued this long green flag run. 3 green flag pit stops for the majority of the field so far here tonight. Looks like Austin Hill, Chris Scala as well as Jim Thorndike, Ryan Branchew, and Caden Atkins. Those drivers yet to hit pit road for their final stop. That will be 4 pit stops for all of those drivers as they pitted under that very first caution we had here tonight back on lap number 5. So the fuel game and the fuel strategy a little different all race long for that 16 of Austin Hill, your pole sitter, trying to crack into the winner's column here. The Performance Truck Series brought to you by Swift Motorsports. Man, I tell you what, race fans, just 12 laps to go. 2.8 seconds. Todd Cray is here. Cray is here. He's going to take that 2nd spot away from the 11 of Chris Scala. Scala going to fall to the wayside as Cray now looks to make his way through this lap traffic, through the back markers, and set his sights on Austin Hill. Just 1.7 seconds separate your top 2 drivers now on the speedway, and closing fast just behind Scala is another driver with some fresh tires. That's that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. running in that 4th spot, and the last man inside your top 5, the 59 of Jim Thorndike. Ten laps remaining in tonight's Monster 134 for Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series, and Chris Scala has called it a night. He has brought it to pit road for the final time. He's going to drop through the point standings, drop through the running order here late in the race with under 9 laps remaining here tonight. The gap down to less than 1 second. There you can see that 16 of Austin Hill trying to make his way through the traffic. Not able to get by just yet. 44 of Ayerson has got the 21 of Cray right behind him. Will lap traffic come into play for Hill? We seen a finish like this unfold last night here in Swift Motorsports. Ayers High Racing paints Arca Menard Series. Will we see another finish like that here tonight? And looks like that is exactly what it is shaping up to be. Some older tires, some fuel management just in front of Todd Cray. Austin Hill leading the race, extending this last fuel run. Does the 16 have enough in the tank? Does he have enough tires to keep Cray behind him? Cray zigging, zagging, bobbing, weaving, looking for a way by. Down into turn number 1, side by side. Your race leader with Jason Harrison, a lap machine right now. Harrison trying all he can to try to stay on the lead lap. Your 5th place driver now falling victim to your race leader. He's going to be put the first car 1 lap down. Cray looks to the inside, not going to have the spot. Oh my goodness, high five for your race leader, Austin Hill. 5 laps remaining as they make their way off of turn number 2. And caution, flag flies. The 95 has a little bit of issues here, and that's going to slow the field down. Jimmy Cormier with a little bit of a moment. We'll check out, see how it all went down. And there you've seen contact with that outside wall off of turn number 2 into the inside wall hard as drivers fanning all over the raceway trying to miss that 95, spinning back up across the track. There you see your race leader Austin Hill making his way by. So with all that being said, we'll jump back up live with the drivers at the front of this field, and looks like Austin Hill, Todd Cray gonna bring it to pit road. Michael Atkins Jr. gonna come to pit road as well. What will Jim Thorndike, Jason Harrison do here? Will they bring their machines to pit road or stay out on the track? Looks like Jason Harrison or Jim Thorndike, I should say, gonna come to pit road. So your top 4 all on the pit road. Waiting to see what Jason Harrison and Nick Hunt will do here. Last 2 drivers being scored on the lead lap. Not seeing them come down pit road just yet, and this could get rather interesting, and indeed does look like those drivers going to stay. Oh, and there you go. Todd Cray wins the race off of pit road. Austin Hill spins the tires, lights him up coming out of his pit box, and he's going to give up that top spot at what couldn't be a worse time of the race. Gonna have ourselves a green-white checkered finish here tonight from Dover International Speedway in the Monster 138. Miles, the Monster, has been quiet. Will he step up? Will he step out? Will he grab a few of these drivers here in the late going? Gonna have just a short track shootout to find who can slot themselves into victory lane. Will Todd Cray go back to victory lane for the 3rd time here this season? Or could Austin Hill break into victory lane for the 1st time? Or will Michael Atkins Jr. make it back-to-back race winning weekends here in Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series? Season number 2 has been hot and heavy battles week in and week out. Man, I tell you what, these drivers have put on an absolute show, and if you think tonight's been crazy, wait till we hit the track next week. That's right, race fans, we head down to the world home of motorsports, Daytona International Super Speedway, on the schedule next week, all week long, for Swift Motorsports live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And as we find ourselves under what should be our second and last caution of the race evening, do want to take a brief moment to say, if you haven't already, race fans, throw these drivers a thumbs up. They have put on an absolute show for you here tonight, as they do week in and week out. So if you haven't already, toss them a thumbs up, click subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right-hand side to get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by. Oh, man. Looks like the wave around's getting the go-ahead. Field gonna get double file. Chevy Silverado pace truck lights are out. They said tonight's race we were gonna be in for a treat, but I didn't know we were gonna come down right to the nitty-gritty end to find out who will walk away with the race win here tonight. Field heads off into turn number 3 as we get set to fire things off once again. And oh my goodness, has Todd Cray, and on the gas, Todd Cray took the inside lane and took off in a hurry. Austin Hill out of gas, not getting through the gears, not going. Austin Hill with big time trouble. Todd Cray, though, man, he took off. Pace truck ducked out of the way. He hit the restart box and nailed the loud pedal, took off. Got a lot of these drivers sleeping. Austin Hill not getting up through the gears. That's going to allow Michael Atkins Jr. up into that second spot. So now, final lap, white flag here tonight from Dover International Speedway, making his way down to turn number 3 for the final time here tonight, and out of turn 4 for the third time this season. Your race winner, the 21 of Todd Cray. Man, what a restart. And I was going to say, race fans, surprised that Cray took the bottom on that last and latest restart. We have seen the race leaders choose the outside lane for the majority of the restarts. Last night, the 1 restart. Tonight, the 2 restarts. But Todd Cray, he takes it to the bottom for the green-white checkered restart here, and he takes away the checkered flag, getting the job done out there tonight from Dover International Speedway, walking away with race number 6, win in the bag. My man right there, the 21 of Todd Cray. And with all that being said, race fans, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and third Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. His second win of 1987. Bill Elliott
back trackside as the field has called it a night. Tonight's race already in the books, the Monster 138. Man, what a race it was. What a race we had at the end. Craziness going on. Big runs from some fresh tires, a crazy restart. And I tell you what, race fans, that's going to lead us to a few of our post-race interviews. Let's see if we can't catch up and have a few words have a few words with the driver walking away in the third place here tonight. Driver that walked away with the pole as well, Austin Hill inside that 16. How you doing? How you feeling?
How's it going, man? It's kind of hard to not be frustrated with that finish. Felt like we were the dominant truck by far all night. Felt like I was definitely the class of the field and should have won that race there at the end. I kind of wanted it to stay green. I think I was going to be running out right at the start-finish line. So I let Todd and them during their pit stops catch up to me, and then I started going, and I was hoping that he didn't take tires, which I didn't think he did. So I was just hoping I could hold him off and, be able to win the race there at the end. It was really tough to pass tonight with how the aero and stuff was. So I thought track position was going to be huge, but then once we had the caution, we all pitted, came down pit road. I thought I had a pretty good pit stop, but I guess I got to get better on these pit stops on iRacing because I always seem to lose at least one position on pit stops for whatever reason. So I definitely need to do some research and see what these other guys are doing differently than I am to be able to have these a little bit quicker pit stops than me. Because it is frustrating because I normally lose at least one spot every time we come off pit road. And that was the biggest difference maker. And then obviously that restart, for whatever reason, I haven't had an issue with my shifter at all ever since I've had it. And for whatever reason, it went from second to first. And I looked down and I was in third gear. So I'm going to have to figure that out before tomorrow's race. There's some type of issue or what I got going on, because that was frustrating. I thought that at the very least I could have ran second or at least tried to have a shot at Cray there at the end. But it was a good race tonight. I had a lot of fun. That's probably one of my favorite racetracks. So just disappointed that I couldn't get it done.
Now you mentioned the gearbox kind of playing some havoc there at the end. All in all, though, besides that little bit of a moment there, a good solid run for you in that 16 crew. You still got a lot of ground to make up here in the Truck Series. At any point in time, do you switch into just race win mode at any point in time and say, forget about the consistent points, I got to go after race wins?
I've kind of had that mentality ever since probably, I don't know, Charlotte. I've had that mentality of trying to get these race wins, and I've came close a few times, and it just seems like I keep coming up short. Tonight was one of those nights that felt like I should have got the job done, and I'm able to get it done on the Xfinity side, it seems like, for the most part, and I can run up front in the Xfinity series each and every week. But for whatever reason in the Truck Series, trying to close out and get the wins been kind of biting me. So, we'll go on to, I think it's Daytona next week and just see what we can do. I know we got a few more races coming up that I feel confident about, and I feel like I can run up front and possibly get wins. Looking over the points standings, I'm not too far out now with how the points updated. I think I don't know, maybe 10, 12, 13 points, somewhere around there. I haven't really looked, but so I think that it's very easy to reach that. I just got to keep finishing top three and really want to get some wins. Should have won a couple of them by now, so it's definitely been frustrating, especially tonight. That was a really frustrating one for me.
Well, with frustration comes a little bit of gains. As you said, another solid podium night for you in the 16 crew here tonight. So going to make some gains in the point standings. Still not quite the finish you would like to have had tonight, but nothing to hang your head about. A solid third-place run here tonight. So once again, Austin, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. Before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that 16?
Yeah, biggest shout out. Want to just give 4X Racing for all they do. Felt like we had a pretty solid night. We had 3 of us finish in the top 10, I believe, and one of them finished right outside the top 10, I think in 11th. So it was a solid night for 4X Racing. We've been doing pretty good on having these consistent finishes. We just got to keep it up and keep finishing in the top 10 and these top 5s, and the wins will come. If you run up front long enough, you're going to get the wins. Our Great House Toyota Tundra was really fast tonight. I thought, like I said, I thought we were the class of the field. Didn't think anybody could really touch us, especially on the long run. But just ended up coming up short. Came down to a green white checkered and pit stop, and just ended up not doing my job there, and costed us the win. So just gonna go back to the drawing board and try to keep getting better. You can always get better each and every race and each and every week, and that's what we're gonna keep doing.
All right, Austin. Well, once again, man, congratulations on a good, solid run here tonight. And we'll look forward to seeing you at Iowa tomorrow night as well as Daytona next week.
Yeah, appreciate it.
There you have it. Few final words from the driver walking away from the track here tonight in the 3rd spot. Your pole sitter for tonight's Monster 138, the 16 of Austin Hill. That will bring us to a brief little chat, brief little moment with the driver walking away in the 2nd spot here tonight. Yet another solid podium finish for that 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Man, as you heard me say right there, another solid podium finish for you. That's going to do you some good as far as the point standings. I believe you came into tonight sitting in the 5th spot in the point standings, so another solid podium finish is going to move you a little bit further up. How was the truck out there for you tonight? How were the tires, and how important was that final restart for that green-white checkered?
Tires was more important, there tonight than what I thought. Usually I save pretty good, but for some reason, even though we had a little bit of rubber buildup on the track, yeah, I was under 60% on the first couple green flag runs, and I really didn't start saving to the last couple stops and stuff like that, but tires seemed to be key, so I just went with a strategy and told my teammate in the league, Nick Hunt, he was like, "You pit now?" I said, I might as well try the strategy. So I tried just 2 right side tires and on that last pit stop because I didn't need but 3 point some gallons left to get to the finish. But hey, 2nd place. I think Austin Hill missed a shift or something on the last restart for the G on green white checker there and kicked a little bit, spun the tires a little bit, but we walked away 2nd place. Another good points night. Don't have to win them all. Just got to maintain points, good points night each week, and make sure we lock ourselves before the last and final points race coming up here, and make sure we are locked into the chase.
Well, man, as you said right there, good solid runs is going to get you into the championship. Want to talk about next week's race or the next 2 races coming up. I don't want to say similar tracks, but faster tracks. We head to Daytona International Superspeedway next week, then Chicagoland the week after that. What's your outlook on those 2 tracks? How good are you and that 41 crew feeling about our upcoming races?
Yeah, Daytona, it's restricted plate basically with these aero packages with all 3 NASCAR series tiers that they have going on. But so that's just a chalk up. I'm just glad. I think looking at point standings, it should put us around close to 2nd place, Alan Young, and close. It's going to put us over Caden Atkins. So we're pretty much solidly into points. So we're gonna ride a little bit, see how it plays out, and wait till the end at Daytona next week and see how it goes there. Chicagoland, we feel pretty confident that's going to be another good track there.
All right, Michael. Well, again, my man, it's been a pleasure talking to you here in the post-race interviews. Multiple visits from you across the multiple different series that we cover here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, so it's always a pleasure to catch up with you in post-race interviews. And again, congratulations on another solid run here tonight, walking away in second. But before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that truck?
Yes, give a shout out to Justin Gann, league owner, Don Kidder, Andy Starcher, Nick Hunt, Chad Kern, Darren Clement. I can't name them all, and I can't name all the sponsors and stuff. I do have to give a shout out to GTR for sponsoring East Coast Motorsports and allowing and being sponsor on the hood and quarter pounds of the car. So there, I try to get them all in there.
All right, my man. Well, we look forward to catching up with you over the next coming weeks, and we'll see how it goes down there at Daytona.
Yes, sir. Hopefully it'll be a blast.
All right, there you have it. Final words from the driver walking away second on the track here tonight. Another solid podium finish out of that 41 machine of Michael Atkins Jr., and that's going to bring us to none other than the man of the minute, the man of the hour, walking away with victory number 3 on the season. Todd Cray, man, how you feeling inside of that 21 truck?
Yeah, boy, guys. Man, that was a great race there. You know, a lot of good stuff, man. Is just didn't really know what was going to happen there at the end, and what a way to bring it home, man. Super happy.
Walk us through those final few laps, if you will. You were closing in on the back of Austin before that last caution. Walk us through that as you were closing in, what you were thinking, what was going through your mind, as well as what were you thinking when you got the lead coming off of pit road, taking that inside lane. We have seen most drivers take the outside lane, but why the inside on that final restart?
Well, to start with there, you know, we really made a big mistake early on in the race. So everybody pitted on that first pit stop, and we really needed a caution. Unfortunately, we got the caution just as we were getting ready to take the lead. But yeah, when we were chasing Austin down there at the end, I knew I had better tires. Wasn't sure if he could make it. So I just pretty much did what I did the whole night: is be consistent, not take any damage to the truck, give it a little bit more with the lap cars. But then once we got to him, I believe it was the 44, was trying to take him on the outside. So it was getting very interesting. I don't know if there was 2 or 3 laps to go, but I was trying to let that situation work out. But I don't know if it was going to work out. So it was going to get really interesting whether we were going to try to take Austin low or push the 44 by him. And so once we got there, I really didn't have a plan. I was just trying to, you know, drive by the, you know, just seeing what was going to happen.
So through that, seeing all that happen, you come to pit road, you gain the lead coming off of pit road. You chose the inside lane. On our earlier restart, you chose that outside lane. Was it just the timing of the situation that the inside lane seemed to be the way to go, or did you notice something there when you fired off on that outside lane the first time?
Actually, when I took the high side there, I believe I was looking at Austin. You know, Austin's a great driver. You know, he's going to be in contention for the win every weekend. So I wanted to try to, you know, pin him to the bottom. And I had my my teammate Michael Atkins behind me. We were on an ECM, so it just worked there. As far as at the end there, I knew I was going to go early. Just, you know, just figure I would take the bottom so I can get a good look at that pace truck when he cleared the line, and just get a good early jump. And fortunately, that's what it took.
Well, man, you've dominated the first 6 races, really. You've won half of the first 6, so solidly into the playoffs here already, pretty much without a shadow of a doubt, man. You've had a heck of a run so far this season. Congratulations on yet your 3rd win of the season. And with all that being said, man, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, any special thanks with your third win on that 21 truck?
Yeah, we'll start with Infinite Hero. They're on board for the whole season here. Pets in Paradise, Clocks by Christopher, always big supporter of the team here. I'd like to thank Swift Motorsports, Performance Motorsports Truck Series, for putting on the show, and then the great broadcasting at Turn 3 Racing Network. Sweet to go back and watch the call, and super happy with that. And once again, my good luck charm cousin Jess here in Jersey. I think she chimed in there on the chat. I want to put it out there for her. And Trixie, they're always watching us on the big screen there in New Jersey. So send it out to them, and that's about it.
All right, my man. Well, we look forward to catching up with you next week at the Super Speedway. Maybe we can make it 4 in the win column. What do you say?
Where are we at? Daytona next week?
Oh, yeah. We going big
All
boy
right,
racing.
All right. Yeah, just going to have to bite down on the mouthpiece there, guys, and see how it goes. But stay consistent, keep the momentum going, and roll into the championship and see how things go.
All right, my man. Well, once again, congratulations on your third race win of the season, and we'll catch up with you at Daytona, I'm sure.
Sounds good, fellas. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Last words from your race winner here tonight, walking away with that top spot. Third time so far this season. Man, that 21 of Todd Cray, he is a force to be dealt with here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Man, I tell you what, Swift Motorsports sure knows how to bring it to back-to-back absolutely killer races here at the Monster Mile Dover International Speedway. Man, I tell you what, it has been a fantastic 2 nights of racing. I can't wait to see what Iowa's going to hold in store tomorrow night for the RB Riggs Custom Computers Xfinity Series here with Swift Motorsports. That's going to be on tap right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network tomorrow night. Same time, same channel. That's right, Darkside Dave going to bring you all the calls once again from the track for that one as well. Man, oh man, I tell you what, great racing all week long here from Swift Motorsports. Whew. Another fine one in the book, and it does seem like producers hitting those buttons, so you know what time it is. Time to run down your unofficial race results for tonight's Monster 138, race number 6 in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series here in Swift Motorsports. Todd Cray walking away from the track with his third race win of the season. 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. gonna roll through with yet another podium spot, gonna finish in second. Austin Hill spinning the tires, not getting up through the gears, having some issues with the shifter. The 16 gonna walk away in the third and final podium spot here tonight. The 44 of Jason Harrison gonna come home in fourth, rounding out your top 5. The 00 of Nick Hunt. The 66 of Edward Bray gonna walk away in the 6th spot. 59 of Jim Thorndike gonna slot home in 7th. First car off the lead lap, coming home in the 8th spot, the 2 of Caden Atkins. Ryan Branchew walking away from the track in the 9th spot. 10th place goes to the 15 of John McMillan. Chris Scala in the 11, finishing in 11th. Lee Staples brings his 5 machine home in the 12th spot. Alan Young slotting home in 13th. 14th spot here tonight goes to Sebastian Guggen, while rounding out your top 15, the 75 of John McMillan Sr. Brian Hitt's gonna finish 2 laps down here tonight in the 16th spot. Stephen Ayers Jr. finishing tonight's Monster 138 back there in the 17th spot. 18th position goes to the 19 of Andy Starcher. 20th to Larry Poling. Toby Bird gonna finish 9 laps down back in the 21st spot. Early trouble here tonight for multiple drivers. The 28 of Ron Schutte called up very early, gonna finish in the 22nd spot. 23rd is that 4 of Jim Ott. Jonathan Holston with some trouble as well, finishing in 24th spot. Kevin Haas also not having a good go here tonight. He's gonna finish in the 25th spot. 26th goes to David Cameron, and a big time a shout out tip of the cap to the driver, the admins up there in the race control booth, keeping everything straight out there on the track. Big time shout out to Justin Gann and Gary Wells, keeping all the rest of these Performance Motorsports drivers in a line all night long. Man, oh man, what a race it was, race fans. And with all that being said, not much left to do from the booth up here, except start rolling up some cords and get ready for tomorrow night's action in the Heartland. That's right, Iowa on tap tomorrow night. So with all that being said, if you haven't already, race fans, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side, getting notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we appreciate each and every one of you stopping by each and every time you do. Without you, there'd be no us. And with that being said, stay safe, stay loved, my friends. Until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.